Welcome back. Can you smell it? We are cooking up a hearty stew. It is winter. We need the comfort. We really do. We want to cozy up, and we want food that makes us feel cozy all the way inside, and stews are the perfect way to do that.
They are.
I'm looking at some interesting ingredients here, and the way that they've been grouped is also interesting.
Yes.
Zozo is going to take us through the basics, the fundamentals of creating a stew.
Absolutely, the basics to making the perfect stew every single time. Okay, so let's start at the beginning.
All right.
These are the aromatics. So these are the base flavors that you should always add to your stew.
Flavors. Cool.
Okay, so things like celery, onions, carrots, garlic,
Bit of
robust
rosemary,
herbs.
yeah.
Those are things that enhance as the longer they cook. Yeah, so you always want some aromatics to start your stew with, just for a good, delicious base.
Okay,
so you saute those off and then you add your other ingredients.
Okay, it makes a lot of sense to me. Base flavors done.
A stew isn't a stew without some liquid, because obviously the long, lengthy cooking means that you need quite a bit of liquid for everything to sort of bubble and simmer together.
To reconstitute, yeah.
Exactly.
Cool.
So your liquid can add a lot of flavor. So what you can do, because you've got aromatics already, you can use water. That's fine, because it'll cook long enough to enhance the flavor anyway.
Sure.
If you want to add another kick of flavor, use stock. You can also use things like vinegar, a bit of wine. You could even use juice sometimes. So it's completely a bit of sauce, yes, whatever you like. But what I recommend is stock, because stock, you add flavor from the beginning, you can't go wrong.
It's there, yeah, especially some stock you've created from your own ingredients, like Zozo does.
I make it every morning, if not. Okay, then we go to the thickeners, because nobody wants a liquid, insipid stew, so you want it to have a little bit of body. So what you can use is some flour at the beginning. So when you saute your aromatics, add some flour. And then cook that out, then add your liquid. Or you can always use tomato paste, which is also a thickener, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I find often when I use a flour or something like that, or corn base or something like that, you get little bits in it. You don't that is brilliant.
That is brilliant.
Tomato paste actually makes for a nice.
But if you're going to thicken your stew at the end, make a beurre manie, what the French call it. It's a mixture, equal parts of flour and butter. Mash it together, and you can add it at the end of your stock, and you won't get lumps.
Oh, brilliant!
A tip from me to you.
An absolute gem.
Okay, and then we're all trying to be cost effective, so we like bulkers in our soup. So things that make the soup go a long way. Everyone likes a bit of meat, but meat's expensive, so you don't always have to have it. So you can have things like pulses that also add protein. So dried beans, even tinned beans work really well. Some lentils, a bit of pasta. Minestrone soup is sort of a cross between a soup and a stew.
Lentils,
so add some pasta. This is some cracked wheat. You can also add things like barley.
Okay,
so those are bulkers. And then of course, to serve your stew. So a stew is a meal in itself, so you can just serve it as it is. But some people like a little more, greedy people like me. So what you can do
is... We're not all banting, baby, yeah.
No, we're not. So you can serve it with pasta, but obviously if you put pasta in your stew, don't serve it with pasta as well, just serve it as it is. So you can have pasta, crusty bread is always yumminess.
See, my problem is I'll go through about 5 rolls before I've even started.
That's okay too.
Lovely.
A bit of mash, this is some sweet potato mash. You can do butternut mash, you can do potato mash. And then of course, good old pap is always a great one to serve with stew. So anything really hearty and filling is what you want to serve with your stew. Anything that'll stand up to the flavor of a stew.
Oh, I love it. We have the backbone of making the perfect stew here, and we are going to be doing just that a little bit later this morning. And we're going to be making what looks like an absolutely delicious stew involving meatballs. But first, let's see what you can expect when entering into that magical journey of buying a new home. Take a look.